The divine perception, unlocking the hidden faculties of the mind. Welcome back to Ancient the Architect TV, the sanctuary where ancient wisdom, divine architecture, and hidden sciences are revealed for the initiate mind. I'm your host, Ancient the Architect, and today we are journeying deeper, beyond the seen, beyond the spoken, into the forgotten faculties of the human soul. In this transmission, we will unlock the hidden teachings of the Blessed One, teachings preserved in the earliest layers of the Pali Canon, where the truth of telepathy, remote viewing, and the refinement of perception was laid bare for those who had the eyes to see. This is not New Age. This is not speculation. This is the gold hidden beneath centuries of dust. Prepare yourself. Still your mind. Open the hidden eye within. For today, we awaken the divine perception itself. There are powers sleeping inside the mind that modern man has forgotten how to even dream of. Not because they are lost, but because they are hidden, folded inward, like light behind a mirror. The earliest adepts knew the mind is not an organ, not a product of flesh. It is a field, a living field, capable of extending its tendrils into the unseen, touching thoughts that are not spoken, seeing places that eyes have never seen, moving consciousness beyond walls, bodies, and even time. But these powers are not to be seized like tools. They are not to be snatched like prizes. They are to be born within, in the silence where the true mind reveals itself. Today, we journey into the transmission that the Blessed One revealed, not to the masses, but to those ready to hear how the mind can awaken its deeper faculties. The mind, as the Buddha taught in the Digha Nikaya, is the source of all perception. But perception is not passive. It is not a glass that receives the world. It is a current that births worlds into being. At the threshold of deep concentration, at the gates where the ordinary self dissolves, the mind begins to awaken to what it truly is. A mirror that can touch the surfaces of other mirrors, and even the spaces in between. In the Kevata Sutta, the householder Kevata begged the Buddha, "Have your monks perform miracles, Lord, that the people might have more faith in you." But the master smiled within. He knew true faith cannot be built on marvels of the flesh. True faith must be built upon the marvel of seeing clearly. And so, he revealed the three miracles. First, the miracle of psychic powers, where the adept can walk on water, fly through the sky, or appear in multiple forms. But these powers are not random accidents. They arise through the purification of concentration, samadhi, and the mastery of form. By applying the purified mind onto form itself, the adept transcends the ordinary relation to body, bending the field of rupa to volitional command. Thus, the ancient could project their body elsewhere, travel without moving, and cross the elements unbound. Second, the miracle of telepathy, where the mind of another is no longer hidden. Through the perfection of concentration, the monk applies the quieted mind onto the mental stream of others, perceiving their inclinations, their hidden movements, their currents of lust, hatred, or delusion. It is not thought reading through force. It is the silent witnessing of the cetasikas, the subtle elements flowing beneath thought. By tuning into the causal breath of mind, one reads the soul without words. But even here, the master warns. Some will say, this too is magic. This too is deception. Thus he lifts his finger to the final miracle, the miracle of instruction, not a power over form, not a power over thought, but the power to transmit transformation directly into the structure of another's perception. By revealing the origin of suffering, its cessation, and the path, the adept alters the very architecture of consciousness, not by force, but by light. It is the only miracle that leaves no shadow. But how does the mind awaken these deeper faculties? The Buddha does not say, strive for powers. He says, refine perception. In the Patapada Sutta, he unveils the hidden staircase, the ladder of jhana, the secret refinement of the mind field itself. The first jhana. It begins with a severing, a withdrawal from the outer winds of sense and distraction. The practitioner gathers the scattered energies inward, like a smith gathering molten gold into a single vessel. Thinking still arises, but it is tamed, directed toward the seclusion of the soul. In the silence of withdrawal, a subtle joy appears, not born of objects, not born of form, but born of the very act of turning inward. This is the threshold, the joy of seclusion. The second jhana. Here, even the subtle murmuring of thought ceases. There is no more directing of attention, no more effortful concentration. The mind settles naturally, like a bird folding its wings upon a high branch. A deeper joy wells up, born not from movement, but from stillness itself. Awareness becomes a single beam, unified, unwavering, self-illuminating. The third jhana. In this station, even joy dissolves. The practitioner moves beyond the rising and falling tides of emotional currents. A serene clarity takes hold, luminous, impartial, serene. Pleasure is no longer sought. Pain is no longer feared. The mind stands still, like a mountain reflected perfectly upon a still lake. The fourth jhana. Here, even the sense of serenity and happiness is transcended. There is no grasping at any feeling, no resistance to any experience. Only pure equanimity remains, pure mindfulness, a field of awareness so stable, so balanced, that the winds of the world pass through it unnoticed. In this perfect equipoise, the mirror of the mind becomes polished beyond imagination. The waters of consciousness fall silent, and it is in this stillness, and only in this stillness, that the gateways to the higher faculties open. Thus, the Buddha declared, from the purified mind arises knowledge and vision, seeing things as they truly are. And so, after the fourth jhana, the Blessed One describes the true miracles. The divine eye, Dibakaku, opens, not a metaphor, but a real inner faculty, allowing the practitioner to see the arising and passing of beings, the karmic chains that weave through lifetimes, the migrations across heavens and hells. But it arises not from effort, but from stillness. Likewise, the knowledge of the minds of others, Setopariññana, unfolds. The monk, established in pure equilibrium, applies the silent mind upon the thought streams of others, discerning their leanings, their hidden seeds of desire, fear, and delusion. He does not probe, he witnesses. In the field of transparency, the architecture of another's soul is revealed. As the waters still, the depths reveal themselves. As the dust settles, the stars come into view. The mind, freed from the tyranny of noise, becomes the eye through which the universe looks back upon itself. But listen, initiate, even here, the Buddha speaks with gravity, for all these powers, the seeing of distant worlds, the reading of thoughts, the tracing of karmic patterns, still arise within samsara. They are part of the world of becoming, the world of arising and passing away. They are high, but they are not the highest. For the true goal is not to have powers. It is to transcend even the division between seer and seen, to transcend the very notion of separate minds to be read. Telepathy unites minds. Enlightenment dissolves the illusion of separateness itself. Thus, the Master teaches, use the powers as stepping stones, but do not cling to them. The mirror must not only be polished, it must be shattered so that only pure light remains. Therefore, if you seek the ancient faculties, not for display, not for vanity, but for true awakening, the path is laid before you. Enter silence, Train the mind beyond the movements of thought. Let the perceptions refine themselves until the walls of matter, mind, and space become porous. Only then shall you know the divine eye. Only then shall you touch the currents that bind mind to mind. Only then shall you rise into the clear air where the soul beholds itself. But do not mistake the vision for the light. Do not mistake the power for the source. The true adept seeks not to read minds, but to become the mind in which all minds arise. Thus the Blessed One spoke. Thus the ancient science was given, veiled to the masses, unveiled to the true seekers. And now it is given again, not for the curious, but for the courageous. If you would awaken the true faculties, purify the mirror, still the waves, empty the vessel, and when no self remains to perceive, you shall see without seeing, you shall know without touching, you shall be the divine perception itself.